for the feelings of connection, peace, and warmth that fill our hearts and minds right now. We give thanks for the privilege of praying for others in our community, in our families, in our friend circles, and around the globe. And we affirm that always and in all ways, divine love and divine order is everywhere present. At Unity Spiritual Center, your prayer is our prayer too. Amen.
This is a percussion extravaganza. So if I have some percussionists in the house that have ever hit a drum or done something, I would be thankful and grateful and very happy if you would play on this next tune. You may choose your weapon. Yes, yes. Do I have to pass things out? We'll be right back after station identification. Okay, this is a funky little thing, and it's all about the giving and receiving grooves, and we are about to groove. 1, 2, let's go. Somebody's got to give it. Somebody must receive. It's an endless cycle in which we all believe. So I gotta get it started, 'cause nothing happens till something moves. So wrap your head around it, the giving and receiving grooves. I listen to your story, you give me a smile. I'll receive that smile and give away my time for a while. I'll help you fix your car, and you can give me a ride. You receive my gratitude. Check it out, there's no downside. So somebody's got to give it, and somebody must receive. Oh, it's an endless cycle in which we all believe. Somebody get it started, 'cause nothing happens till something moves. So wrap your head around it, the giving and receiving groove. When I'm feeling lonely, you keep me company. Once you get me laughing, oh, it makes good chemistry. Oh yeah, I'll scratch my back and I'll scratch yours. It's a spiritual massage. Everybody gets on the train, the entire entourage, 'cause somebody's got to give it, and somebody must receive. Oh, it's an endless cycle in which we all believe. You gotta get something started, 'cause nothing happens till something moves. So wrap your head around it, the giving and receiving grooves. 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 Everybody shake it, shake it, shake it, shake it. Thank you. There we go. That's what we're talking about.
If you notice, I'm not wearing a tie today, which means I'm not speaking. That means you're speaking. So today we're doing storytelling. Back in October 2nd, I think it was, if you were here, you got a orange. I do know my colors. A pink or purple envelope. And inside was a $20 bill. And you were instructed to pay it forward, to do something to make the world a better place with your $20 bill in some way or other. And today we're going to hear the stories of what you did with your $20. So I'll come around with the microphone. And if you weren't here on October 2nd and you want to get a $20 bill to do something good with, you can still do that, but you have to tell us what you're going to do with it. So be prepared. Think about what you did with your $20. However that happened, it works. And I've got my first volunteer.
Well, we've done this a few times, and back when, and I used to be out and about more in the city, and there, of course, are panhandlers and other street people, various people. And at least once I did that with this. I took the opportunity to talk to somebody more than I would have otherwise, and I gave them the $20. But these days I'm not out and about that much, and so I decided to do the same thing, or essentially the same thing I did last time. The very last time we did it, there was a member of the church who I knew could use the money and doesn't attend anymore, and I actually gave him the money. And this time, because of the recent passing of John Antoni and the bike ride he did every year for the Multiple Sclerosis Foundation and stuff, I actually added to the money and I donated it to them. So I've been doing that, to that organization for a few years anyway, and kind of in support or in memory of John doing the fundraising for the bike ride every year, but this seemed like another opportunity to do that. So that's what I did.
Wonderful. Thank you. Who else? You're right here.
Okay, so mine sat on my desk with this, stared at me for a couple of weeks, and I'm going, the opportunity is going to come. It's just going to happen. And I said, but does it really have to be the $20 that's in the envelope, or could it be another 20, and then I'll just trade? I kept thinking that. So it's going to happen. So I'm working away. I'm transcribing a song for a client, and I see a teenager slowly walking up and down the street and knocking on every door with a big satchel and a bunch of cards and all this identifying stuff, saying that I am part of the Team Leader thing, which is a teen thing which raises money to send kids to college, including this person in question, and also to visit Washington, D.C., which our kid did quite often. Sweetie Hell, she was not happy. I could see that no one was even listening to her. And so when she came and knocked on my door, she was sort of surprised when I answered it. And she starts doing her spiel like, and I said, no, we'll do this. She goes, really? Really? And I said, yes, what do you got in the bag? And she goes, oh, I've got this, I got these stickers and some other things. She goes, and so I said, okay, how much is it? She goes, $20. And there you have it.
The Spirit was moving. Who else?
I don't know, I think I was here, but I don't know if I got one. I didn't see it. It's in a red envelope?
Pink and purple.
Oh, yeah, I didn't, anyway, I have to tell you what I would do with it. Yeah, I know I got some stuff in the mail from the SPCA, and the animals, they said that they were going to euthanize them. And so I felt like, if I had some money, I would donate it to them. So that's what I would do. So I have to get them.
There are plenty of animal lovers in this space right now that we approve. Right, right, right. Well, good, you're doing good things with that. Yes, Reuben.
I sometimes take a walk in the city from where I live in the Sunset, and this day I walked from the Sunset over to Divisadero, and yeah, Divisadero. And so I was out there, but I had to go. Sometimes that happens when Joe and I have an argument. I have to go out and get some energy out. But anyways, this was not one of those days. And so I was walking in the neighborhood, and I had just eaten breakfast. That was my goal, is just to go out and have breakfast somewhere. And then I was walking out, and I saw this lady, this Asian lady, probably in her 60s or 70s, crossing the street with a cart with her belongings, it seemed like. And then I thought, oh, I'd like to help her out, but I was still eating, so I thought, I hope she's still there when I finish eating. So luckily, I was almost finished, and I finished eating, and then she was at the bus stop, and she had her cell phone out talking to somebody in Chinese, and I thought, oh, that's interesting. And so I walked over there, and I gave her $20, and she just stopped for a second and said, thank you, and then I walked away. But I think one of the interesting things about this process is the story within the story, which is the story that I tell myself when I see somebody. Oh, that's probably a person that is homeless, or, when I saw her with her phone, I thought, oh, she must have family, but for some reason she probably is not with them, and all this like stuff that goes in my head. And the first time we did it, I decided not to give it to somebody based on whether or not I thought they were deserving. I just thought, whoever I see first, I'm going to give it to them, regardless of whatever. And I like that process. Yeah, so it's just very interesting. The other thing I find interesting is sometimes I do give money just from our own account. And it's kind of like, I wonder, why is it so hard to give away your money? It's like, I want to give this 20, but I'm not sure if they're going to use it right. And it's like, what is the money? What is the power of the money in your hand? So I'm glad we're doing this, because it makes me think about my own generosity and why I do things. So.
Great, thank you, Reuben. Anybody else? One more thing.
Sorry, my memory keeps coming back. I would think that the dog that I give a donation to will become a pet for some family, and that would be nice.
Yes, find its forever home. Yes. Others?
So I wasn't here for the last $20, but I was here, right before COVID, and I did that $20. But I didn't get to share the story. So I've got a 92-year-old aunt that I go visit every week, and this happened, and we were going to lunch at our favorite place, and we always take a selfie. And a young man that was a doorman saw me messing around with the camera, or the phone, and he said, "Here, let me take your picture." And he was just a real sweetheart. And he took our picture, adorable young guy, probably a college student. And my aunt and I walked out of the restaurant, and then I stopped and I said, "You know what?" I said, "I got $20 from church." I said, "What do you think, Auntie Flo? What about?" And she goes, "Oh, yes, absolutely. Give it to this guy." So I gave him the envelope, and he was delightful and just so gracious and appreciative. And the thing that's significant, that was right before COVID, and my aunt, she really doesn't go out anymore, and she's getting more and more frail, and I still see her, but that's a memory that I have with my Auntie Flo. And I don't know how many more Tuesdays we'll have together, but that's just a precious memory. And I have a beautiful photograph, which I don't have with me, but just a really wonderful memory. So that's that.
Yes. Giving brings out memories.
Thank you, Randy, because the first time we did this was like 3 years ago, and it was on a Super Bowl Sunday. And I love going out on, I always try to go out on Super Bowl Sundays because then there's less people around. So my boys and I went to the park, and we were just sitting around, and there was a gentleman sitting on a log, and I just went over there and gave him a $20 bill, and he was sitting there, and he says, no, he didn't, he just said thank you, but I could tell in his bag that he had peanut butter and other things, and I thought $20 might buy him another jar of peanut butter. But the memory I have is me and my boys at the park, and that they shared this time with me. So I really appreciate that experience, which was our first time we had done it.
Great, thank you.
I'll stand up here so you guys don't have to crook your necks. This time, I was going to give away my $20, and Ruben took my $20. By mistake. So I'm trying to think. So last time, I didn't get to share my story fully. I had been holding on to my $20 as well, and I walked to work every day. And I would see, I'm like, where's someone I can give it to? But on the almost last day before we would come back and share what we were going to do with it, I was I work at UCSF, so there was a whole line of people waiting to get into the elevator to go to school, to go to work. And right in the side of where people were waiting was this person all huddled up. Usually there's no one there but employees and students. And so when I looked at her, and I was waiting for my elevator, I looked, and she was this very elderly woman who, she looked like she was homeless, and she had one bag next to her. So I spoke with her while I was waiting, and she said, oh, I have a terrible headache. I thought, okay. And so I talked to her for a while, and she said, oh, and so she was telling me a little bit about how she's, just had this headache and hadn't had any coffee. And so anyways, I gave her the envelope with the money. I didn't tell her what was in it. And then, so I said, okay, please, have a good day, take care of yourself. And then my elevator's about to come. I had about 4 people in front of me, so I had to wait a bit. And just as I go around the corner, I hear her, she had opened the envelope. And she said, oh my goodness. And then she said, and just as I stepped into the elevator, she said, may your guardian angel look over you. I'm like, oh my gosh. So that was a very special moment. And then one thing that I do, especially when my kids, when we go to and from school, we would pass by a bakery. And quite often there's someone who's sitting there just waiting for someone to donate money, but I know most people just walk by. So what we've done is we'll go in if we're getting our own stuff, and then we'll get something savory, something sweet, and a drink for that person. And when we come out, we just say, oh, would you like, oh, not just would you like, we'll say, I think, oh, we have a snack for you. And the reason I think that's helpful is that sometimes I feel like, okay, if I give this money to someone who has all their belongings in one place, they're very, probably unkempt, for them to go into a store to buy something is probably difficult. Either they're not going to be felt welcome, or they just don't want to leave their stuff around if they go in. So I find that it doesn't usually cost $20, but it's a very small but kind of cumulative giving over time. So that's been very nice.
Thank you.
Jerry, one of the things that I found out through this process is that when you're going to be giving money away, especially to people that are homeless or on the street or wandering around, is that $20 in one bill can be a great gift, but one experience my children and I had walking the lake was a homeless lady walking, a middle-aged woman. She looked like she was very distraught, and she was pulling her bags and her carts and everything, very confused, and didn't know where to go and everything. And so we said, let's give her the money. And after we gave her the $20, she was asking for directions because she had came from like the other side of town, and she wanted to know where the bus stop was. And here you're out at the lake and you're in a different neighborhood. You just don't get on a bus with $20, you know, a break. So when you're going I just feel like when my son was giving her the 20, I said, no, let me give her the fives, you know, some fives, because she can get on the bus and hand $5 rather than 20, and most people look at that amount of money in one bill, and they'll either tell you no or they'll take advantage of you or something. So I think if you break it down. A couple of weeks ago, and I haven't seen this very often, driving into the driveway into Lucky's, you know, the shopping center, there was a family, a gentleman with a sign. I didn't even read the sign. I just know they needed help. His wife was sitting down, and there was a couple of babies, young children with him. And I drove in, and when I came back out, he was still there. So I stopped, and I couldn't get my the window down on that side. For some reason, it's been jammed for so long and everything. And then I got kind of panicky, and I started to put this window down. And so he looked at, he was afraid, I guess, that I was going to get away without giving it to him. So he runs real quick around to the right-hand side. Convenient, I didn't have to get out the car or figure it out. But had been a long time since I had given something to a family on the street. I remember once coming off the bridge, and we passed down, off the exit, and there was, remember under the freeway, when you make that turn off of Fifth Street, going back up on 380, homeless all over it, and I saw people, and I saw this young woman walking with nothing on her feet, or something had all torn up, and so I had some clothing had been traveling, and I had some socks and stuff, and I was just throwing it all over because I was in the car on one side of the street, and she was walking on the other side, and I was just throwing socks. Something to put it, because to me, walking around the chill of the day with nothing on your feet is not too cool. So that's great. But let's just say that I've passed out more than $20 in the past couple of months.
Good for you.
Change for the bus. She needed it.
Yes. You don't want to make donations to Muni. No. Anybody else? I'll report on mine. I added to mine. And in my neighborhood, there's a house called the Huckleberry House where homeless teenagers can stay. And so I gave my money to them. But I thought, they start lower. I mean, they start higher on their website about how much you can give. So I just gave some of my own. Any others? Or anybody want some?
I like this activity because before this, I always thought, I'm not going to give to that homeless person because I donate to such and such cause and they can get help that way. But I think what it helped me do is to not see this person as, well, they got to take care of themselves, and see them more as a person, and see them in the eye and say hello and recognize them. So I just like that activity.
I just checked in the chat, and also we have a message here. Joan Cody wrote that she gave the $20 to her caretaker, who works long hours and pieces many jobs together to make ends meet. In addition to this, she finds time to make sandwiches for the homeless at St. Anthony's. She thanks me and my church for the money. Anybody else? Well then, let us turn to our time of meditation. I invite you to relax where you are, feel comfortable wherever you're sitting, and just feel supported by whatever chair or sofa or bed you're on. Feel the connection between it and the earth below you, and through that, through all of creation. And I invite you, if you haven't already, to close your eyes or look down at a soft focus at a 45-degree angle. And just take a deep breath. And slowly let it out. Setting aside the concerns of our day, we unite our hearts and minds in prayer. With each breath, we relax as we open to divine ideas and a fresh realization of our oneness with God. We begin by recognizing the power and presence of God in this moment, within and all around us. Each breath draws us deeper into awareness of God and our God potential. The spirit of peace is my well-being. From my I am nature, the divine identity, I now command every structure and system in mind and body to behold the spirit of peace. The spirit of peace is the source of my mental clarity, emotional calm, and the renewal of my sacred body. I claim the potential of peace now. Centered in divine wisdom, I know the way to go. God is the wisdom within, the whisper of truth whenever I seek a sense of direction. Moment by moment, I feel my way to the next decision and the next action on the strength of intuition and discernment. Confidently, gratefully, I proceed. I claim the potential of wisdom now. I am one with the flow, energy, and vitality of divine life. In each moment of celebration or challenge, I am anchored to the power of divine life. The promised fullness of life is mine as I attune to limitless breath and ever-flowing vitality. I claim the potential of divine life within my holy heart and sacred body now. I live in joyful expectation, knowing God is my source. My faith faculty is fully functioning every time I acknowledge God is my source. Turning my attention towards the blessings I experience each moment, I instruct faith to see what my eyes cannot yet see, the blessings ahead. I claim the potential of faith in joyful expectation now. One God, one life, one mind, one heart. We are one. May all beings be blessed. May all suffering be relieved. May all joys be magnified. May my heart beat in unison with the divine heart of all humanity. I claim the potential of life, love, and oneness now. We are renewed, strengthened, and enlivened for the purpose ahead of us. Fortified by spiritual peace, wisdom, life, faith, and love, we are fully able to be a light in the world around us. Our agreement is to acknowledge our spiritual source with every claim of our divine potential. Now I invite you to take another deep breath. Hold it for just a moment and then slowly let it out. Feel your connection with others in this time of service and in the universe. Wiggle your fingers and toes a bit. And slowly open your eyes and come back to wherever you are. Amen.
Here at Unity Spiritual Center, we are an ocean of love. Here at Unity Spiritual Center, we have an inspiring vision, an exciting mission, and compelling values by which we strive to live. Please join with me in saying them aloud. Our vision is, centered in God, we co-create a world powerfully transformed through the growing movement of shared spiritual awakening. Our mission is, we are a creative, joy-filled spiritual community dedicated to healing, inspiring, and transforming the lives of all people through prayer, education, and love. And our values are, we are spirit-led, generous with resources, inclusive, joyously creative, and guided by integrity. And in this space, feeling so inspired by our vision, mission, and values, and feeling so enriched by what we've experienced here today, let us take time now to be a channel for enrichment through our generous tithes and love offerings. As Michael shares the next beautiful song, please take that time to write out a check to USC, or if you're on Zoom, make a donation online. If you're here in the sanctuary, the ushers will be coming forward to take your offering. Practicing the principle of tithing ourselves as a spiritual community, we are pleased to tithe 10% of the offering collected each Sunday to various Unity organizations and local nonprofits serving our city. Let us now take a moment to bless our tithes and offerings as we cup them in our hands or place them near our hearts. Let's say the offering blessing, which is on the screen. Divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, God.
So the tune I'm about to play, Every Little Bit Helps, was written by the late, great Catherine Brinson. She's the reason I'm here, actually. Because before I was here, I was out there with you, with my lovely platform assistant. And there was a different musical director at the time, and Catherine said, I need your help. Can you sub in until we find a new musical director? And I said, well, boy, Sunday morning, whew, wow, you know, having to perform. But I said, all right, I'll try it. I'll sub in. And it's been 20 years of subbing in. So she wrote this song. She sang it to me, and I recorded it, but she didn't have any accompaniment. She just sang what she wanted. And then I wrote it, and I put her name on it, and she was a little upset. I thought that was funny. I put it on my first little record, and I did for Unity, and she goes, well, you wrote the song. I said, no, I took what you did, and I just finished it off. That's all I did. So here's our little collaboration called Every Little Bit Helps. Every little bit helps, adds up to a lot. Share some of your time, give what you got. Dig into your pockets, there's more than you thought. Every little bit helps, adds up to a lot. Everybody's got issues with their money and time. We all hang on to every minute and dime. Let's do like Solomon and slice it in two. Here's 30 seconds and a nickel for you. 'Cause every little bit helps, adds up to a lot. Share some of your time and give what you got. Dig into your pockets, there's more than you thought. Every little bit helps, adds up to a lot. Just 2 minutes can change a tune. Take a moment to listen and do it real soon. For somebody's crying just to be heard. Pay a little attention and they'll sing like a bird. 'Cause every little bit helps, adds up to a lot. Share some of your time and give what you got. Dig into your pockets, there's more than you thought. Every little bit helps, adds up to a lot. So if you're feeling just a tiny bit broke, just remember the words of which Jesus spoke. You can't get into heaven if you're a rich man. So lighten your load just as soon as you can. 'Cause every little bit helps, adds up to a lot. Share some of your time, give what you got. Dig into your pockets, there's more than you thought. Every little bit helps, adds up to a lot. Catherine Brinson, the late great.